Hi everyone, my name is Bo. This year is the 17th anniversary for those tragic attacks on 911. I can't believe it's 17 years ago. I still remember how shocked I was when I saw the tragedy on TV. I decided to do a project using Excel to visualize global terrorism, so we can get an idea of what happened to the world over all these years. I found the dataset from an open source database called Global Terrorism Database for free. The dataset contains the details about all the terror attacks from 1970 to 2017. You can see how terror attacks are getting more intense and widespread over the world by this heat map created by PowerMap. And same thing happens in the States. It's like an epidemic. It's all across America. And here is my dashboard. Here's my dashboard. And wow, come on. And this is a slicer for region. Instead of insert a time slicer, I inserted a timeline. So we can just drag and choose different time frames. It's much easier. From this chart, we can see that the hotbeds of terror attacks transit from South America and Central America to Middle East and South Asia around the year 2000. Also, in these areas, the attacks are getting more intense than ever. Apparently, bombing a most common attack in these areas. This is Middle East. Iraq is the first contributor, and in South Asia. At the same time, the bombing is the all-time favorite of terrorists. And it also has a very high success rate. So I think that's the reason why it's so common. And after the year 2000, you can see from this bubble chart. The bubble size of Middle East and South Asia are getting more and bigger and bigger. So the size of the bubble here represents the count of attacks which can be identified by groups or gangs. So I guess that means after the year 2000, the terrorists in South Asia and Middle East are getting more and more organized. And more organized the terrorists are, the more attacks and the more people died. So I think this says something. This may be a reason. This may be part of the reason why the terror attacks explode after year 2000. They got more organized. And from this bubble chart of the US, on the contrary, the bubble size are getting smaller and smaller over the years, especially in New York and California. This means the gang activities are diminishing in the US. But however, you see the bubble jumped. The Florida jumped in 2016. This is the Orlando nightclub shooting, and in 2017 Nevada jumped again. This is the Las Vegas mass shooting. Both of the incidents are caused by a single gunman, the so-called lone wolf terrorists. So even without gangsters, we can see these lone wolves can still cause mass killing of innocent people with the help of firearms. From this chart, you can see the firearms, even it's less common than bombing, but it can sometimes cause more death. So maybe we should consider gun control here. However, I choose the data from UK, which is where in the UK gun control are very tight. However, the firearms still are number one cause of death. So we need in-depth research to see whether gun control can help to control the terrorists. And there's one more thing we can notice from the bubble chart is that around the year 2001, the North America jumped. That's the single effect for 911. We can see from the dashboard, we choose the data from North America, there is a huge spike of data. A single attack that took 3,000 lives. This is one of the worst things ever happened in human history. I have a pivot table here. You can see here. This is the number. These numbers are the top 10. I highlighted the top 10 numbers, and you don't even need to conditionally format it to notice this number. The number of people got wounded in the 911. It's almost the same number of the worst year in Iraq, but this only happened in several hours. So it's just unbelievable. In this pivot table, I conditionally formatted that in this way. The red ones are the years where more than one terror attacks happened each day on average, and the yellow ones are there are more than one attacks per week on average. You can see there's so much violence. And I discovered some add-ins here. You can insert the add-ins here. You can shop for add-ins just like shopping in the App Store on iPhone. These little add-ins can be very handy when we need simple visualizations. This is the people graph, and this is a simple version of heat maps. It still can tell us a lot of the data. And last thing I want to mention is about Power Pivot. I originally did my project without Power Pivot, but the file turns out to be huge. This is the original file I work on. So I put all my source data into Power Pivot and continue with my project. And after I was done, the size of the file shrank to almost 1/3, and even smaller than the original one I downloaded from the website. I already knew the Power Pivot is created for big data, but to see with my own eyes, I still feel very amazed. I think it is a very powerful feature of Excel. And lastly, I don't have enough time to show all my research findings. I know this project is not entertaining. It actually makes me feel really sad to see a world with so much evil things. But all in all, my spreadsheets told me that the world peace is still just a wish. If we don't do something, things might keep getting worse. But on the other side, I think only after we see the dark side, we can start to cherish the light. I feel so thankful to everything I already have in my life. I hope everyone can feel the same. Thank you.